Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Tuman Show. Today we're gonna see, was this $5,000 E30 the car that I wanted it to be? First things first, just for clarification, in case you were wondering, this was strictly $5,000 in mods. Will it make this car fun? And I actually went a little bit over budget, but you know, there's things like this and little cosmetic things that I wanted to make the space more comfortable. So we're gonna use air quotes for the 5,000. Now, what have I done in that time? So let's start with motor wise. I didn't do anything. I did change a little bit of the exhaust system to add a cat. I am changing the muffler to my Super Sprint muffler that I have, so you'll get some exhaust clips today, but they won't be of the Super Sprint. Other than that, it's all stock for now. I do have Billet 272 cam and 19-pound injectors, and it will be tuned using a Mark De Silva chip for those mods. That will come later. I'm hoping to do a before and after dyno, because that's just how I operate. I really like doing that stuff. But that money's been spent, but it's not included in this initial was it worth it. Suspension is kind of one of the main areas I spend money. I have Turner Motorsports J-Stock springs, Coney single adjustables. The car already had an Ireland Engineering big front sway bar, so if you hear some creaking, 95% chance that's what it's coming from. 5% that it's an old E30. Besides that, the car's, you know, got the wheels and tires that I mentioned in the last video. Youngblood 15x7 spec E30 wheels, non-King CRS tires. But you know, I've got the recipe for a good fun car. And to evaluate that, I'm on my way to Angela's Crest. What else has been done? Everything else has been cosmetic. The seats, I guess, will be considered cosmetic. And technically I didn't buy them, I already had them, but I added that cost into the 5,000. Door panels, a couple, like I said, creature comfort items to clean up the interior. I wanted it to be a black interior, came as tan, so I got the black door panels. I have added floor mat. I'll be painting the carpet black. I already painted the partial shelf black. I spent a little bit of money having a couple custom pieces purchased so that I could have my kid's baby seat put in the car. She's almost 5 and she likes going to car events with me, so I want to nurture that as much as possible. You're probably hearing kind of the rough roads right now because that's LA. On-ramp. Gotta open it up. Okay, so from here it's gonna suck. So I'll bring you guys back in when I actually get to the canyon. So we'll talk soon. Okay, so we have made it to Angela's Crest. And I guess let's start with how the car was in traffic on the way here. You know, it's got a really light flywheel, so it's not too thrilled about just coasting in gear. However, it wasn't that bad. I know a lot of people say, oh, automatics are better because driving in traffic sucks in a manual. And yeah, it's not fun, but what's the alternative? The alternative is you have paddles here when shifting is what drivers like to do. How's it in the canyons? And you know, the first part where you're just getting into Angeles Crest is typically where you find the slowpokes and the hikers, and I don't know what else anybody's doing out here. Luckily it wasn't too bad, but it was nice because I was like, I knew I wasn't going to be filming. I didn't want to push it, and I was just at a good pace. And it was probably about 6/10, so it was nice and fun. It was a good, like, smooth drive, just like right now. I'm not pushing it. I'm only going a little bit harder than I was earlier because I'm not out here making lap times or trying to win a trophy, because there is no trophies. It feels great. So, initial thoughts, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with this car. The key is I need to bring it out to places like this and do what I want it to do. You know, it's we go a little decreasing radius at the end there, up the hill. Could it use some more power? Sure. Is it slow? I don't think so. Because if I really wanted to, I could be going much faster and really testing the limits of the car. But I'm having fun. I don't need to go at 9/10 or 10/10. See, that's a turn that a lot of people get a little too hot in and make some mistakes. Yeah, I just glanced at my speed. I'm really not going that fast. The car sounds good. Feels very nice. Predictable, pretty planted. Definitely having fun. So I think the camera's about to fall off, so we'll just stop there because I'm pretty extreme angle. Oh man. Alright, so in conclusion, was the $5,000 in mods worth it to make this E30 the fun weekend canyon car that I hoped it to be? And the answer is absolutely yes. Seats, honestly, next to like suspension, are one of the best mods you can do. So the seats took up a big chunk of what the car needed. Now, good sport seats are not necessarily a bad thing if you have an E30, but mine were haggard and I already had the Recaros. Boom, excellent, mod number one. Mod number two, suspension, wheels, and tires. And truly, for an E30, and really any car, suspension, wheels, and tires are a game changer. The E30s and several cars are pretty good right out of the box, but once you put some sticky tires, some good suspension, it makes a huge difference. On the previous Malibu episode, where I just went for a drive with Kevin, it turned out to be, I think, stock springs with just some Bilsteins. It wasn't bad, but you could see lots of bouncing. So now that I've got some nice stiff suspension and some good sticky tires, I had so much fun yesterday. So suspension, wheels, and tires, number one mod. Highly suggest not cheaping out. Get something good, get it on, get it aligned. Good tires are also a great thing to do. You can put them on the stock wheels, but I have basket weaves, and I think the car looks pretty damn good right now, other than that rear window, which is, you know, the rear window is actually a good transition into like what's left for this car. So overall, this car, done. The things I'll be doing from here on the car aren't even worth taking any kind of videos. So the things I'll take videos on with this car is when I go for drives and do those kinds of things with it. Really, that's the one that I should be doing videos on next. Back to this though, the $5,000, it adds up pretty quick. Seats are not cheap, and you don't want to get cheap seats, but if you have good seats, you can kind of get around that one. Suspension, wheels, and tires though. Don't cheap out. Get good tires, get good suspension, get a good alignment, and man, E30s are fantastic. Now, you see I'm in my dirty clothes. So what am I doing now? I mentioned the muffler. It actually sounds pretty good. However, it looks terrible. And it's probably pretty light too, but I've got this big boy, and it's about to go in. This is not a light muffler, but that's okay because it's in lower rear portions of the car, which tend to be lighter. But I've had this since my Alpha parts collecting time, and Kevin should be here right now, and we're going to put this guy in. Anyways, guys, stay tuned. Go buy some E30s. Go have some fun. I mean, there's really a whole host of cars you can buy for $5,000. Spend another $5,000 on some mods, and for $10,000 you have a great car. Later.